Talking all that bullshit. I'ma put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, my boy Hunt. What's poppin', baby?
Hey, Connie, I'm back.
It's been a while. It's
Back
been a
in the
while.
house.
We haven't seen you in the
Let's go.
studio
It's
in a
been
minute.
a while. I've been too busy just sitting at my computer doing all sorts of business shit. You know, I've been trying to get my business going.
That usually means like you've been doing nothing.
Well, yeah, that's true.
He's grinding in the lab.
In the lab, huh?
I've been in the business lab. Yeah, I guess so. I
Okay.
guess so. But yeah, I'm doing well. I hope you guys are doing well as well.
I see that, you know, we found out you were coming. Burke's like, oh, I'm not coming today.
Yeah, like
Is this what happens? Like, what the fuck? What's
Empty
going
chair.
on?
We got empty chair cam right there.
We got an empty chair for Berg, but you know,
No
I'm with the
captain.
boys today. What's poppin', Lamanna? How you feeling? Baseball season's here. Look at that. You see it in his
I'm
face.
right where I need to be. Very, very disappointed with the Pirates, of course.
Would you guys have like a 4-2 lead going in the ninth?
4-1 lead in the seventh. They gave up a run in the seventh, 2 in the eighth, 1 in the ninth. That's the game.
Fucking classic.
Obviously, errors all over the place, playing like shit. Skeens look good, though.
Did he?
Skeens look real good.
I mean,
Got a little shaky in the sixth, but that's okay.
you know,
But,
growing pains, right?
Yeah, he looked great. Everybody else is, playing positions they shouldn't be playing because they're the Pirates.
Yeah, your first baseman looked like he weighed like 120 pounds soaking wet.
Andy, yeah, he's supposed to be a catcher. Yep, we have a second baseman playing shortstop. We have a shortstop playing the outfield.
This is opening day, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are looking real good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep scratching that head. What's poppin', Landy? What you up to?
I don't think I have like an affiliation with the Miami Marlins, you know? So
Right, that's right.
I feel like I'm more Pittsburgh, like adjacent.
Well, you
I
live
don't really,
with Berkey, so it's
because I
kinda...
don't really care if like the Finns make the playoffs, but I kind of like the sweat if the Pirates do.
Well, don't worry. You don't have to worry about the fucking Finns or the Pirates making
Neither
the
one
playoffs.
will, yes.
You don't think
will
so?
make it.
The Finns. It's not
be
the Dolphins.
very-
It's the fucking Miami Marlins.
No,
You can't call them
No,
the
he's talking
Finns.
about the Dolphins.
No, I was talking about it's Miami Marlins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Did I
can't
say
call
You
them
said
the
the
Finns.
Finns. The Finns.
Oh, the Finns, the
You can call
Mar
them-
Finns.
You can call them the Lins.
the Miami.
They do have fins.
They
for what it's
do.
worth.
You can call them the Lins.
But you call the
The
Dolphins
Lins and the
Fins.
Fins.
Yeah.
Either way, it's
The fish. They're literally called the fish.
the fish.
Yeah,
a few concussions away.
I'm
from-
losing track of all the alliances here. We've got Pirates. We've got
right.
I
Miami
have Florida
Marlins.
sports.
Who's your baseball team?
Anything in New York.
Anything in New York?
Mets, Yankees, anything.
The tri-state
anything,
area.
Yeah, but like not like
I
Buffalo
thought it like
area.
wasn't okay to support both the Mets and the Yankees.
I don't
Aren't
give
they
a fuck
rivals
what
with
you
each other or
think.
something?
He's a unique soul
No, I'm
over
like,
there.
I'm asking. Like,
I love
I don't
sports.
know.
I've always loved sports. So
Right.
like when it came to everything like New York wise,
So
I
you just-
like
okay.
the Rangers. I like the Islanders. I like the Mets, the
That's fair enough.
Yankees.
The-
I like the Giants, Jets.
Like
It's
Giants, Jets, I think that happens a lot where a lot of people like both.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you find someone that likes the Mets and the Yankees equally.
Yeah.
That's a very weird kind of
See,
thing.
in my
guess you could
world,
say
that's
that.
like in English football, you don't have the option. You can't just be like, I like Manchester United and Manchester City. Like, you
Right.
don't get to do that.
Well, that's because those
Both
two
teams will beat you up.
Well,
Both
that's
teams
my
fans will
point.
beat you up
If you
if you
get
try
in
to
the
say
fucking
that.
train station over there, there's going to be a fucking massive brawl. So you
Yeah.
have to pick a side.
Exactly. If you show
know?
up at the wrong train station wearing the wrong color jersey, you're going to get the shit beat out of you.
Who are you rooting for in the Subway Series?
A good game.
Ah.
It's honestly whoever's
This
closer,
guy.
whoever needs it for the playoffs when it comes down to it. Like
No, I'm saying
Rooting
like the
for a good
actual
game.
World Series Subway Series.
Oh, Yankees.
Okay, there we
Rooting
go.
for a good game is like how I approach all American sports. It's like I never give a shit who wins. I just
Yeah.
want it to be kind of
Like,
interesting for
I
me.
do have a ranking system here. It's going to be Yankees over Mets,
Jets over Giants? Or
Jets over Giants, and Rangers over the Islanders.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The regular of the podcast, aka Sports Mike Joseph, was very happy to go to opening day in Houston.
No, he wasn't because they
Lost, but he was
lost.
happy to be there.
And
Yeah.
then he watched Juan Soto just fucking strike out with 2 men on to, or 1 man on to tie the game if possible.
He had a single. Had some walks.
You know,
Is that what you? What do you pay for if you pay $700 million? Like if this guy gets on base 3 times, Every game.
What do you pay for? You pay for a goddamn clutch man. And when it's in the bottom of the ninth and you're on up to bat, and you have a man on, you want that $700 million man to perform.
That would be worth like $1 million out of the 700.
It would be worth something. You know what it do for Mets fans? Opening day, just fucking crank one out of there. No matter what, if they lose the game, win the game, they won that contract for the rest of their life.
I think Efro's a Mets fan.
He is. He's a big Mets fan.
Huge. Maybe the biggest fan.
Right,
Does Guapo have an allegiance over here, or is he just a neutral out here?
His cousin plays for
he's a Mexican.
the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cousins, this guy.
All right, well, let's put the sports talk aside for a minute because we have another special guest with us. What is poppin', Henry? Killed the game.
Oh my God!
Back.
Talk about blast from the past.
What's poppin', baby? How you doing?
What's up, boys? I've really enjoyed just tuning in there for this little back and forth on American sports. I loved it.
Yeah,
we got a little sports talk.
We're getting
going
our dose of British accents right now.
Right? We're invading.
Soak it in, guys. Just soak it in.
We're taking this country back.
They're invading. God damn it.
Yo, Henry. So you were out of the game for a little while. You came back for Triton and stuff. What happened? They gave you a blank check or something?
No, I was playing a lot of private games last year, and it was one of those where I was just like, thank you. It was like, something has to take a back seat because it was just really interfering with like playing. Okay. And just decided to like take a few months off and just kind of like enjoy playing poker because it just always feels like, I'm in the booth. So it was nice to actually get out and be on the felt for a little bit.
How are you feeling, by the way, Henry, since the accident?
Oh, incredible, man. Thank you. Yeah. Full range of motion. Yeah. Like the scar is barely visible anymore. Like the metal detector beeps at the airports every now and then. And I just have to like tell them, hey, I've got like a metal rod in my shoulder. But
so most people don't. So most people don't know. Guapo didn't set that up and let the people know what happened to you. Why don't you go into it real quick? What happened exactly?
Well, it's kind of called like a Thai tattoo. It's like every white man that comes to this part of the world on an adventure thinks that he can, ride a scooter around like he's in MotoGP. And I was one of those guys. You look back and you just realize like. I see it now. I drive a massive pickup. I'd make you Americans proud, yeah. But after the accident, I was like, okay, I just want the safest fucking thing. So I just bought the biggest truck possible.
Just driving a tank around the streets of Thailand.
So you're trying to tell me you got rid of the motorbike?
You see it now. No, I don't ride anymore. But you see it now, and you see these guys, and I'm just like, Jesus, man, like that used to be me. That was me and my friends just bobbing and weaving out of traffic, just like thinking that it's never going to be you, and then one day it is. And yeah, I was very fortunate, obviously to not be carried out of that situation in a body bag. And I like to not try and like backpedal on what I just said. The actual accident itself wasn't our fault. Like me and my brother weren't driving recklessly at the time, but that doesn't take away from the fact that, there were precautions that we had just been ignoring before that, and it was only a matter of time. So yeah, it was one of those kind of wake-up calls, and lucky to obviously have only walked away with I think it was like eight broken bones or something at the time.
How long was your rehab for this?
I mean, realistically, rehab's still kind of going. If you're talking about like physiotherapy and visiting like the osteopath and stuff. But in terms of just like being back in action, being able to cut my own food again, being able to brush my teeth again, all of that stuff that you just take for granted, that took a good few months. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems kind of rough. I know you're in a bent up shape, and like having other people do like your daily tasks for you, that can't be easy.
No, and my brother was an absolute godsend, and it was the most humbling thing ever. And honestly, in a weird way, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like people hear me say that, and they're like, what do you mean it's the best thing that ever happened to you? But it sounds very cliche. But it's like, I think it's Confucius. Yeah, it's like you have 2 lives, and your second life starts when you realize you only have one. And
Yeah,
after
new
that
perspective,
crash,
huh? Yeah.
I honestly, food tasted better. The air smelled sweeter. The birds that were chirping at my window at 5 a.m. that used to annoy me, all of a sudden it was like a symphony. And it's been a very, very fun life ever since. So I'm very glad it happened.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that. How did you feel about your return to Triton?
Oh man, I missed it. I didn't think I was gonna miss it, but I really missed it. And yeah, I've really enjoyed being back, man. And I think similarly to what we were just saying about like having a newfound perspective, sometimes you don't really know how good you have it until it's gone sometimes. And I think commentary was something that I'd kind of like fallen out of love with a little bit, just because I wasn't getting to play as much. And that little bit of time away where I got to play again and I like rekindled that love for the game, really helped me, take to the commentary role with like a fresh lens. And yeah, I'm loving it at the moment, man. But listen, the most recent one in Jeju, the regs got battered, dude. Like it was rough, all of our heroes like Jason, Chidwick, all of Makita, all of these guys just got absolutely destroyed. These Chinese players that no one's ever heard of showing up for the first time playing these high rollers and just crushing, like just absolutely crushed the field. So we're in this really interesting time in poker where, we have access to these high rollers. You guys know stateside as well. Poker Go Tour do an amazing job over there. And it just seems like we have an abundance of high stakes to be played at the moment. And you have these new young up and coming players that are emerging, that are super exciting to watch. People like Mario Mosbach, for me, as just like a poker fan, the guy is just, the full package. People like Punat Punsri, super exciting to watch. So I feel like we're at that stage now where we have these new up and comers who have been on the scene for a couple of years and have really held their own. And maybe like a transfer of the old guard kind of thing. Well,
it's kind of interesting because you guys on that side of the pond have new up-and-comers and stuff like that. Our Poker Go series is the same 97 people every single time. And, whether it's fucking Hold'em, Omaha, like it's just like the same group. And, it's nice to see an influx of new players inside the high roller scene because, like, Triton was popping from what I see.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Henry, but these are the biggest numbers Triton has had, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
record breaking
by a country mile. Like, I think we hosted the largest ever 6-figure buy-in tournament here in Jeju.
They did.
We had a 15K with like a 7-figure payout or something ridiculous like that.
Almost 400 people, I think, was in that.
Yeah, there was like a 25K with 397 entries in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like
fucking sick.
We're used to following the storylines at Triton when it was still this kind of, private members club almost, only people that had the bankrolls to kind of step up and step in the arena with these titans. Whereas now these young pups, they want to step in the arena. They're willing to get the sword out and go to battle against these OGs, and it's really refreshing to see.
Do you know why there was such a don't get me wrong, a lot of the American mid to high stake regs came over there for Jeju this time, but what is the influx on that side? Do you understand why so many more people came out for these?
Bitcoin hit 100K.
No, it went down at the time. I'm pretty sure Bitcoin was like 87.
They already cashed. It went down because they cashed out to play Jeju.
Honestly, it was. I remember going into it, keeping an eye on the Bitcoin price because it is something that you kind of have to do for when these high rollers. And obviously, you can never predict where Bitcoin's going to go, but. Yeah, Bitcoin obviously got shredded. It went down to 78 just before the series started, and we're like, oh, fuck, okay. All right. But the reality is the great thing about Jeju is there's no visa requirements for Chinese tourists. So you just get a ton of mainland China money.
Makes sense.
You have without exaggerating, 10 direct flights from mainland into Jeju every day. So you just have people that are just there golfing, rich, Chinese people that are there golfing. They're like, oh, there's a 15K on, there's a 20K on. I'm just gonna go flick in this 25K.
No problem.
I normally play $500 tournaments, but why not?
All right, that's pretty sick.
It's great.
That is pretty sick. I didn't know that the whole you don't need a visa to get into Jeju from China. I didn't know that whole situation. So there's no other tour stops like that?
No, I'd say Monte Carlo does well, but nowhere near as good as Jeju. Montenegro, we'll see. Montenegro is nice. We get a lot of Russians in Montenegro, a lot of Russian pros and VIPs. But I also think problem in Montenegro is it's tougher for Americans to get to, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas like Jeju, you have some pretty nice, just fly to Seoul and then
especially from the west coast,
from Seoul to Jeju.
Pretty nice,
exactly.
24-hour flight. Real nice and smooth. So what you're really here for today is to talk about a little philanthropy. Somebody say
Philanthropy.
Yeah, that stuff work that you got going on in Tanzania. What's popping over there?
Tanzania main event.
The Tanzania main event. Well, I wanted to see how you guys are doing, but I appreciate we jumping straight into it. Yeah, man, I was having another quarter-life crisis. I think it's my fifth one so far in these 30 years I've been on the planet.
Respect for you
So
realizing.
you're 125% of the way through your life, I guess is what you're saying.
He's overbetting on life.
Something like that. And I was like, okay, I need a challenge. I been out in Thailand. This was after the Bahamas. And I was like, been in the booth. It's been an intense couple of months. I want to challenge myself. So I was like, I'm not ready to climb Everest yet, but let's find something that, is kind of still out there. And I ended up landing on Kilimanjaro. And I knew that, I'm the type of guy where if I don't put a deposit down and reserve it, I won't do it. So I was like, I'm just going to pay for this and I'm going to figure it out later. So I put a deposit down for this Kilimanjaro summit and just get in the gym, super focused on just summiting this mountain. And yeah, obviously fly out there and just get exposed to some of the most beautiful people I've ever met, man. The African people there, the Tanzanian people specifically. I mean, I've traveled everywhere, and never in my life have I seen people as giving and kind and inspiring as these people. I mean, there were days on the mountain where, our group just struggling, you're digging deep on summit day. It's like a 14, 15 hour push to the summit and you're struggling and you just have these people that are just the most uplifting, inspiring people that have been with you every step of the way. And I got really close with one of the main guides, John Bay, and he was just telling me about his journey from, being a porter, which basically means they're carrying, without exaggerating, 20 kilos on their backs up these mountains, to then making it to being able to save up enough money to then go to college and then get the necessary degree to then become a guide. Because when you become a guide, obviously your earning potential is a lot more. And this guy just had, so much to give. And yeah, we were dreaming up ways of how we could collaborate. And, for the longest time I've been wanting to do something like this. So yeah, we stayed in touch. And then after I got back, you'd hit me up on WhatsApp, you send me these voice notes hey brother, how's it going? All these things. And I was like, you know what, man, this is the time. It just feels right. These people, they feel genuine. They're super inspiring. And I really want to share some of their stories with the world. So I was like, look, John, do me a favor, take a week off work. We'll figure something out money-wise. Take a week off work and just go into mainland rural Tanzania and see what you can find. Go and check out some of these schools, see what we can find out there and see what could be done. And fair play to the guy, straight away, it's just, the efficiency in Africa, mate, is 10 times what it is in Europe. Yeah, This guy's just getting shit done, man. He's okay, yeah, no worries. Next day, he's 8-hour bus ride He's sending me videos from all of these different schools. He's meeting with head teachers. I was like, okay, John, if we keep traveling around from school to school, nothing's going to get done. Let's just pick one school. Like, which one do you think is the one that's most in need? And that's what we landed on. And it's this school, a primary school of like 1,700 children, in just need of like a new school kitchen. I uploaded a video where, if you see it really makes you grateful for, the life that we live. And we're like, okay, we're going to knock that down. We're going to build a new kitchen. We started budgeting together, how much it's going to cost for labor, how much is it going to cost for materials. There's some like politics involved in terms of just getting the approval from the district council. But again, just to give insane credit to everyone that's involved on the ground, it has been just like such a, really heartwarming journey so far. And they've been super accommodating. And yesterday, we're Saturday now, or Friday for you guys. So same day, we finished laying the foundations, the concrete foundations for this new kitchen.
Nice.
And yeah, man, it's wicked. These people are so inspiring. I can't wait to just continue sharing their journey. And I honestly think this is going to be one of many.
That's
me and John
dope.
have big plans to do stuff together.
That's dope. I personally felt extremely grateful watching the video because I really never seen something like that. I fucking born in Long Island, we lived a very comfy life on this side of the world, you know?
Do, man.
And like watching that video, I was like, holy shit, like that's the kitchen?
Right.
Like that's the kitchen for 1,700 kids? Like how does this even like work out? Like I thought, it's like some of those things that you see like, I don't know, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and you're like, is this real? Like, I can't believe this. So have you personally went over there yet and like seen the schools and stuff like that?
No, so I'm going over in June. This is like a surprise for the kids. Obviously they have the kitchen, but kids are kids. Like, yes, they're excited, but also like, imagine when you were a kid and like your parents were decorating the kitchen. You don't really like, it's like kind of whatever. So we're going to throw them like just like an end of school year barbecue. And this idea that I had, man, I'm buzzing for this. And so in Tanzania, football is huge. Okay. John sent me this video of the kids like kicking around what resembles a football, but just isn't a soccer ball. So we're going to be taking, a bunch of like sporting equipment out there. But the biggest surprise that I'm really buzzing for is we're going to get a projector screen and we're going to get all of the boys, and the girls obviously welcome, but hopefully we've got some fun activities for the girls that, they're just not interested. And we're going to put on Barcelona against Real Madrid.
Let's go.
And this is going to be the first time these kids have ever watched like El Clasico, Wow. And I'm going to get them at this before. I'm going to choose one of like, the peak Madrid Barcelona games. And we're going to get all the kids. So you're going to, choose a side of the room. What team do you want to support for this event? Barcelona or Madrid? And it's going to be a blast, man. And going to have a barbecue and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, I don't know, I don't want to like overpromise like too much. But I've never been so fired up about something in my life. Like that's
pretty dope.
This is really what it's all about. And, I think when I look back at all the people, Berkey included, you guys included, all of the people in my life that have really just, helped me to get to where I am now. I think, I'm at that stage in my life now where it's just like, okay, I've had it really good, and I want to try and do something and give back.
Yeah, that's
really awesome.
Really awesome. It's like heartwarming to hear stuff like this. Like watching that video again, like I was like, wait, what does their school look like? Now, granted, their school looked a little bit more in condition and whatever, but like, I don't understand how I just don't understand how that's life. Unfortunately, it's something that was brand new to my eyes, and it's pretty awesome that you're involved in stuff like this.
Henry, in terms of raising money, how do people get these funds out to you if they wanted to donate?
Sure. So there are a few ways. So I set up a Why Donate page, which is available in the link in my Instagram bio.
Okay.
And then I've also, just because like it's the poker world, and maybe some people want to stay anonymous, maybe some people don't want, people want to like send over USDT or whatever. So I've had a lot of people just like reach out to me in private, and they've wanted to like stay anonymous. And then I've just provided them like a USDT address. So, but also like I want to state for the record, right? Some of us are more able to give in the form of finances, and I feel like the thing that I want to change in my projects is, I want to make philanthropy and these projects available to everyone, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to donate money. Just engaging with the project in the form of, sharing on a website that maybe you have, or, a Facebook page or an Instagram page, or following the posts that I put out. We live in a time now where, Instagram, TikTok, all of these platforms, they reward engagement. So even just like a simple comment, spamming a couple of emojis, clicking the like button, allegedly it helps, the post reach a wider audience. So I really want to build a community around this, and I feel like a lot of people feel kind of shunned out from giving because they think that the only way that they can help is money, and that's just not true. So, even if it's just responding to a post that you see, thank you, and yeah, if you do have the means to donate $5-10, when I say it goes a long way, let me give you perspective. Like John's monthly salary is $95 a month.
Wow.
So.
What'd you say?
Donating, John's monthly salary is $95 a month. So you donating $5, like literally helps pay a worker for like 2 days' work. So it really goes a long way. It makes a difference. So just like thank you to absolutely everyone that's reached out. And again, even if it's not in the form of financial donations, and thanks to you guys obviously for providing me with a platform. We've smashed that number, by the way. We've raised like $34,000 in less than a week.
So are you going to be using this all in this one project, or are you going to be looking for more and just keep on going?
So we're going to be looking for more. So initially, kind of what I was saying about the mountain, like this project was me checking the temperature in the room kind of thing. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this project, but I don't really know how it's going to go, and I'm not sure if I'm capable of putting something like this on. So let's just give it a try. I'm very much, a actionable kind of guy. I like giving things a try and then going back to the drawing board. And my plan was to give this a try, and I was going to fund it regardless, even if it just fell on dead ears and didn't get any traction. But I wanted to just give it a go, and obviously, it has exceeded my expectations, by 1,000%. Honestly, without exaggerating, and obviously I promised the people that wanted to remain anonymous that they would stay anonymous, but within 10 minutes of posting the project on my IG, I had 2 people reach out and just like offer to cover the full amount. So the support has been overwhelming in a really good way. And I was like, okay, this is the green light. I got the feedback that I was looking for. I've been wanting for a very long time to launch a foundation within the poker space where, I provide a platform where we can work on different projects. And I kind of want to open source this to the poker community. I don't just want this to kind of like be me. I want to get it to a point in, a year's time, 2 years' time where, multiple people are coming up with different projects all over the world, and as a community we're kind of like pulling together. I want to speak to the people that I work with, Triton, WPT, all of these amazing companies, to see if there's some form of collaborations that we can do to get more eyes on it. So hopefully in the next week or so. I didn't know setting up a non-profit would be so difficult, but it is. But hopefully I spoke with my lawyers yesterday. I'm hoping within the next week or two, I have an official non-profit organization that, has like a full legal entity set up. and that's just going to, add a layer of legitimacy to it. And then we'll launch the website, we'll launch the socials, and we'll launch everything.
All right, this
Awesome job.
This is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, good job, Henry.
This is really dope what you're doing here. Let me know when you need people on the ground. I'm going to send Landon right over.
Yep.
He's definitely going to build something for us.
That is true. When you think of physical labor, Landon is actually one of the first people I think about. Like, this guy is so enthused to be hands-on.
Yep,
so
that's me. The hands-on, really good at getting tasks done kind of guy. Yep.
Yeah. Actually, I'm proud of you. This is a pretty dope. This is really cool that this is a giant step in life to do something like this. So.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. No, thank you guys. How is everyone, by the way? Like, what? Give me a little.
We're all just living to die over here, okay? We're just living to die over here, man. That's all that's going on here.
We're all waiting for that car accident where we're going to have our lives transformed. Like
oh, please.
You joke, but I've been saying this to a lot of people that having a near-death experience is one of the best things that can happen to you. It's it wakes you up, man. It does wake you up. I don't wish it on anyone, but at the same time, I wish it on everyone, kind of thing.
We've all got to go out there and somehow find a way to specifically get hit by a car in a way that doesn't kill us, but does injure us badly enough.
That we need 2 years of rehab to think.
You've got to really time the jump in front of the car really correctly,
Yeah, man, it is true though. Like we do just get in this lull where we just go through the motions over and over again, right? Day in and day out. And then you kind of do forget that there's more to life than just, the day-to-day grind.
Yeah, we're just
I don't know about you guys, but Henry, I will be out there soon because I am looking to get my Thai tattoo very soon. Here I come, Phuket.
Thanks a lot for joining us today, Henry. I know it's like 3 o'clock in the morning wherever the hell you are, so I'll let you get some sleep and get on it. We appreciate it so much. Everybody share Henry's post, get it out there. Donate if you can. Donate if you can, and we appreciate you, Henry.
Have a good one, Henry. Thank you.
Great seeing you, Henry.
Later, soldier.
Cheers, guys. Peace.
Man, that's pretty dope.
That was awesome.
All we fucking do is worry about our goddamn selves over here. Henry's over there building kitchens for kids.
What a hero.
I'd love
Plus,
to see it.
next time he has the nuts on the river, he gets to shove and be like, if you fold, you're stealing money.
That's right. That is actually good.
That is strong. You've done some philanthropy. You got to say it.
Philanthropy. Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know if you'd call it philanthropy. I did a lot of volunteer work, but it was more when I was in college, I was volunteering with an organization that's about youth leadership. So it was in colleges. So it wasn't really in the area of kind of alleviating poverty and providing resources like what Henry's doing. But I did do a bunch of volunteer work, a bunch of traveling and kind of working in a couple of different places, running youth leadership seminars and things like that, and teaching people different skills and stuff. So yeah, I did a certain amount of that stuff, and I got a ton out of it as well. I don't think I had the real opportunity to do something like Henry did in a very direct way, where you're like building a something that's going to provide resources for people, but it's super rewarding, and you never really have an understanding of how lucky you are until you're able to see very different environments from your own. I spent time in Russia, I spent time in Turkey, I spent time in a bunch of different places, and I never went anywhere that suffered from the same kind of poverty that some parts of Africa do. But I was planning a trip to Africa. I had a volunteer experience scheduled in Cote d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast, and then 2 days before I was supposed to go, they had a civil war breakout.
Oh. Wow.
And I was like, wow, if that's not a wake-up call, like this is how it really works there. It's like, if I had gone there, a couple of days earlier, I would have been like immediately just caught up in a civil war that just broke out. So it's like, I was grateful for that, but at the same time, just the cancellation of that trip taught me a lot in itself, because that's something you don't have to worry about in this part of the world.
So, like, were you doing more stuff like in England to begin with?
I mean, I volunteered on my college campus.
Okay.
And then because the organization's global, its name is ISEC, AIESEC.
Okay.
It's an acronym. I won't bore you with the details, but because they work in global, colleges all over the world, I had the chance to travel and like partner with different people in different colleges, and I worked in Ireland for them in Dublin, kind of helping set up their organization there, because they had sort of they had a branch in Ireland, and then it kind of shut down because they didn't have enough people, and then they were kind of relaunching it, and I was part of a team of 6 people that went out there to kind of help set it up. So a lot of what I did was kind of located in the Western world, but I was kind of doing a lot of partnering with people in, everywhere, all over the place, emailing people from India to set up an internship for somebody and all sorts of things like that. So it was a great opportunity to collaborate, and I did get to do a lot of travel with it as well. So yeah, super rewarding. And there's nothing like being able to volunteer your time in a way that you can see makes a ton of impact,
Dope, because I know the rest of these lazy motherfuckers in this room ain't do shit. Yeah, I'm looking at you guys and myself.
They're all avoiding eye contact right now. They're all
what are you
looking
talking
away.
about?
What are you guys talking about? Well, you got something else coming up.
I got stuff to promote. It's
Let's
not
talk.
anywhere near as inspiring
It's
or,
not
or
inspiring.
whatever,
Like,
Not
It's all about how you frame it, right?
Yeah,
so like
that's true.
if you maybe you go over and you're going to tell us a little bit about your business, and it's maybe going to help people, make a little bit of extra money playing poker, then they can use that money to donate
Exactly.
to Henry's
There you-
cause.
there you
That's
go.
why we call him the manager.
There we go.
Speaking of philanthropy, they're donating to your cause, which will help them.
They're donating in the sense of paying me for a product. Yeah, but Anyway,
I like what I said better.
Yeah, I like what Brian said.
I'm going with Brian.
But yeah,
Beat it, Landon.
so what I'm doing is I'm running a project with my new brand, Poker Fluency. It's called the Alliance, and it's basically a 10-week group of it's a training and support experience is what I'm calling it, because it's a combination of coaching, networking, mindset preparation, all sorts of things like that for people who are playing at WSOP this summer. And it starts a couple of weeks before the series. You get 5 preparation webinars, including a lot of guest speaker spots from people like our esteemed leader in the empty chair, Mr. Berkey, and also Jason Su, Paul Salter, a couple of other.
Those are mindset coaches, correct?
Yeah, Jason
Okay.
Su is obviously a great friend of the company and does a lot of great work in the mindset and performance space. So we've got a lot of different people that are going to be doing Q&As and talks and things like that to get people prepared. We're going to do game selection work for people on what tournaments to actually play, looking at stuff outside WSOP as well. I just saw that the Win just announced their summer schedule today, so I haven't even checked that out. But that just went live on Instagram a little bit before we started. And then throughout the series, it's going to be all centered around a Discord server, but it's really going to be a chance for everybody to kind of build a community of supporting each other throughout, and also studying as well. So it's going to be weekly strategy sessions, weekly debriefs on what are we seeing from the fields recently, like are we seeing like there's more value at the Win, or like these Venetian events are really good, or something like that. There's going to be the chance to do prep sessions before day 2s and final tables. So someone makes a deep run, they make a final table, we get on a call the morning before, we look at who the other players are, like kind of make a bit of a game plan, and really just kind of be there to support each other throughout this 7-week experience. Because ultimately, especially if it doesn't go well, but even if it does, the WSOB can be one of these really intense experiences where you're out there, you're grinding every day, you're trying to really play your best, but it can feel quite isolating after a while, especially if you're someone who doesn't have a well-established network already.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And with all the coaching that I've done, the one thing that's the most consistent is that the players that have a good support network and who take advantage of that network, those are the players that succeed in the long term. Like if you're connected to players who you know well and who you study with regularly, and you're all kind of lifting each other up in the long term, like you're going to succeed. I've just never seen somebody have the right support network in place and then still fail, So I just think it's so important, and I wanted to give this opportunity for people to kind of get involved in something that can give them that,
Yeah, this is a really dope idea, because I know there's a lot of people lone wolfing it out there in a certain sense.
Yeah.
And like bringing like some type of community together, it can mean a lot when it comes to a daily grind. Like if you're out here for 6 weeks and you're grinding, it's a lot.
Yeah,
It is a lot.
And even if you just show up for a few events, it can be kind of deflating. I've seen it from my own students. Like they come out and they'll have like a super deep run in something, and they're really like stoked about it. But because they just came here on their own to make a trip to play a couple of tournaments, there's no celebration. Like they don't even have like people here that they can like go out for dinner with and celebrate or anything like that. They just they go back home to their family, and I'm sure they celebrate with their family at home and everything, but poker is kind of its own thing for them, and they don't have that poker network that can be, supporting them when they're doing things that are poker orientated. They just have their family, and then maybe they have friends outside of poker, but they don't have that group within poker. And this is what I want to provide for people. So we're trying to set that up, and also trying to supplement it with all kinds of things that can basically just help people perform better, help people study and learn better, but perform at their best as well, and ideally make deep runs and take down some bracelets, you know?
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. What's your plan for this summer? What's been going on with you?
My plan, well, obviously, recently I've just been focused on kind of putting a lot of this stuff together, you know, just focused on a lot of coaching, branding, and coaching work and things like that. But I'm going to be out there every day like I normally am in the summer. I always look forward to the summer every year. It's my favorite time of year because it's the one time when I get to just kind of put everything else to the side and just focus on playing poker. You know,
it's just a long grind, baby.
Yeah, it's a long grind, but it's so fun. You know, I think in particular, because I got into poker when I wasn't living in Vegas, I wasn't even living in the US, and I was just like grinding at home online and all this stuff. It seemed so far away to be able to be in that position of, I live in Vegas and I play the WSOP every year. I go out and I just play all the events and so on. That the fact that I get to do that every year now is just a really nice reminder of how lucky I am to be in this position, you know, and how far I've come since when I started. So yeah, always a fun time, always something I look forward to, and hopefully we'll run good this year and ship some tournaments.
How did you start with poker?
I started in college in home games. I started with a bunch of friends just grinding, or not grinding. We would just play it. We would play every week, like just. But it became a grind eventually because it was like it started once a week, and then it was like after a month, it was like, oh, we're going to play 4 times a week, and my friend is like breaking up with his girlfriend because she's so pissed because he always has us around his house to play poker like 4 times a week. That literally happened. His girlfriend broke up with him because she was so pissed at all the poker games happening in her house. And then a bunch of my friends moved away, started playing online, and the rest was kind of history, because I didn't have a home game, so I just played online, and here we are.
So basically, you thank your friend's girlfriend?
I pretty much do. Yeah. I thank you, Sam, wherever you are. I haven't talked to you in like 15 years, but thank you, Sam, for setting up my poker career. Yeah.
All right. So how are you guys feeling about the summer? What are we getting into? Because it's coming. It's right around the corner.
Man,
coming.
I know. It's almost April.
It's right around the corner. It's. I was looking at the calendar today. I was like, wow, there's only like 60 more days before the grind starts.
Right.
So what are you guys playing? What's your plans this summer?
Landon,
I'm leaving, man. I'm going to Florida.
What? Oh,
you're not going to be here for the series?
No, we're talking about the summer series. We're talking about WSOP.
Talking about the World
We're talking about the
Series.
grind.
Yeah, I'll be here. I mean,
you going to be playing bigger this year? What are you doing?
Any cross books?
There's just a lot of stuff going on before the summer, though. Like, you have 60 days to actually, like, maybe get a little bit better at poker. Like, there's a lot of time
for
there.
sure.
That is true, but we're talking about the goddamn series right now, Landon.
I'll probably just play a lot of stuff during WSOP. I don't think there'll be a cross book. It doesn't really make too much sense. At least, like, I'm not going to facilitate one because to win last year's cross book, it wasn't necessarily about playing the highest buy-in stuff or potentially the highest EV options, more so what maximizes the cross book, where if you're playing a one, like the win,
seems like you can be more focused without it, right? You can more.
He's capping himself in a way with the crossbook.
Focus doesn't really change much. Like, I just want to win everything that I play anyways. But when there's the decision between playing a one day at the win, where first is 60K and you get a full double in the crossbook, versus playing like a 25K heads up, so to speak, where it doesn't even count for the crossbook. You're making way more money playing the win one day and not really maximizing not only like the spot for like dollar amount, but also like personal growth when it comes to improving in poker, because you definitely learn a lot playing high stakes stuff and being in the environment. So I think this year the series is big enough as is, and I don't necessarily need to have a crossbook. At the same time, like if other people wanted to have one, like that's not involving me. If someone wanted to like take me versus Becker and I would stay out of it, I'm just still going to play what I'm going to play. Yeah. They can figure that stuff out. Doesn't make much sense to me anyways.
I think it was kind of a hinder on you last year. Like, it's capping like what you can do and what you wanted to do in a sense. Like, and like it kind of fucked you up.
I don't know. I mean, we both just had losing summers, Like,
but like, forget about the win or lose. Like, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It's like what you were playing, what you could have been playing, and like what you put your focus on, where like you weren't exactly maxing everything. Like, if you had a chance to, like, you kind of like capped yourself, it feels like. And there's a lot of situations where you're like, you're going through schedules with other people, and you're like, should I play this? Should I play this? And it's like a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff that you really don't need in a fucking 60-day grind or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because at the same time, while that like might have some weight, there's also the weight that I actually put in more volume than I probably would have in other summers, and that's also something that I should probably strive for as well if you feel like you're playing good. Because sure, you want to have days off here and there, but at the same time, if you're on strip, like being on campus, like you really should be playing a bunch of stuff if you feel up to it.
Yeah, you just
and the
can't stop the grind.
the crossbook definitely helped incentivize that.
Yeah.
Where there were days where like I would start at the WSOP, I would lose a tournament, I go to like the win of the Venetian and like go max late reg like the mystery bounty at the Nuggly, where like that's what I probably should be doing if I didn't. The gold, yeah.
When did it be called
It's called the Nuggly now. That's the Nuggly
Okay.
now. So, but like I should do that anyways in the sense of the summer and the grind because it's high value stuff, and this is kind of where you make the most amount of money in the year if you're playing tournaments. That I should be doing that anyways, but I wouldn't have done that if the crossbook wasn't on.
Yeah.
So some things from the crossbook are definitely takeaways in the sense of just putting in volume. At the same time, I personally didn't feel much mental strain to like make something happen because I was stuck in the crossbook.
Not in the sense of
or
make
anything like
something
that.
happen or something like that, but you use mental strain on like what you were doing because of the crossbook.
Well, there's definitely
And it's
opportunity
like-
lost.
Yeah.
Like missing out on 25Ks at the
Yeah,
WSOP.
that's huge. Like
missing out on some other spots where, sure, maybe playing this is better dollar amounts, but you're not fully doubling the crossbook and taking some hits here and there.
Yeah, I feel like it just sucked, like having to weigh your decisions versus the crossbook at every moment, in a sense.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, I think if I planned it better or if there was more structure, I think the rules would have been a little bit more different. Not sure what they would look like, but it might have been cool to have some sort of bankroll for us to have for the summer and then figure out how to do it that way. Anyways, like doesn't matter to try to figure out now. But the rules definitely favored volume and smaller stake stuff, where the first place was 250K or under.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what happens when the cap is what it is, to maximize the bet versus maximize the summer.
Yeah.
And those are two different things.
Yeah,
And this year, I just kind of want to maximize the summer.
It's kind of ironic that I would assume, looking at results from the overall year, you mashed his results from last year, right? Like,
Yeah.
didn't you?
He got like he got 6th and 2nd to
WPT.
Last year
Right.
was
Florida
the best
events.
year I had
Yeah.
in my career.
But like
Thank you to
you
Florida.
probably like doubled or tripled his amount of cashes for the year, I would think.
I mean, no, he had a sick year too, man.
did? Okay.
Yeah, so I
I
cashed for
didn't
like
see-
1.25
Yeah.
last year, and he cashed for like 1.3.
Oh,
so
wow,
he definitely
okay.
cashed like call it more dollars and played much more volume than I did, like just kind of what he does, and respect
see.
to that. So no, we both had career years last year. So maybe part of that was like sort of the incentive, but like he won a Poker Go tournament for 200 and then final tabled something at the Win, like the December series for a lot prior to the year ending. So no, we both had sick years. I just won all the money outside the crossbook.
You probably had a lot less in buy-ins than him, though, right?
Yeah, it's probably somewhere along those lines.
And do you think your average buy-in would have been higher as well?
I think
probably, right?
I think so, because he played a lot of smaller stuff, which I
Right.
did not play.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he obviously did very well in them too. So I think his average buy-in was lower and volume was higher. And I mean, I don't think I could replicate. It's hard to replicate having a year like last year.
Yeah.
Playing I didn't play as much volume as I probably could have.
Yeah.
Like I think if I was tracking my bullets, I think I played like 180 or 100, like around 200 for the year live, which isn't really that much.
No, you could put that in WSOP alone.
Like I think for WSOP, I can double check, but maybe it was somewhere around like 60 to 80. Because like I wasn't really like in for too much. Like I wasn't in
Do
for
you
like
mean
a billion.
all events during the summer, or do you mean specifically WSOP?
I think all events during
all
the
events
summer.
is what
I
I
can
mean.
Right.
check, but I think it's somewhere between maybe 60 and 100.
Right.
Like 180 is a lot.
In a
you know?
year.
I mean, it feels like you're not trying.
No, it feels like you're not trying if you're in for 180.
No, there's just so many events to play.
you're
Like
just
when you
toasting
bust, but like you bust, you go to the next one.
Right,
Yeah.
but the thing is, the more day twos you make, And the more events where you make day 2 without firing multiple bullets,
Day 2, day 3, day 4.
the fewer entries you're playing. So like ultimately, if you found a way to play 400 entries in a year, that wouldn't really be a great sign.
You made one day 3 last year.
No, I made I cashed the main, so that was day 4.
Right, but how many day 2s did he make where there was another event running, but he couldn't play it because he was in day 2? You know, like,
there's a couple here and there, I'm sure. I do think it's hard to play like 100 bullets in the summer. Like you have to really just play every day and like probably casino hop, because even if you're playing, you have to play 3. So if there's 45 days in the summer, roughly for WSOP, you have to play an average of 2.5 bullets a day.
I actually think my max was like 85 for the summer.
Yeah.
Like my most bullets.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to play 100 in a summer.
Yeah, so I think I played like 180, but obviously I played online on Sundays, but I definitely didn't play as much live as someone like Jeremy did, and like respect to him for playing as much as he does.
You be slacking in the live streets sometimes. You know, you get in this like little comfort zone. You don't want to go outside. Hunt, what is your summer like? Are you a psychopath jumping from spot to spot?
Not usually. I'll do a certain amount of it, but I tend to like. I don't max a lot because I feel like if I get to a point where I'm maxing a tournament, I'm usually not gonna give much of a shit about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
why is that?
Well,
10 big blinds is 12 big blinds is 12 big blinds.
But I just mean it in terms of preparation. Like, it doesn't put me in the right headspace necessarily when I'm regging super late, because for whatever reason, I guess it's partly just because at shorter stacks, a lot of the way I'm playing is a bit more automated. It's like it's a little bit easier for me to just kind of show up and be a bit more casual about it. So I do max certain things, but I'll try to balance that against like making sure that I do take days off and things like that, because especially having a family, like I don't want to have 6 weeks where I barely see my wife, you know, like I do want to make sure I have downtime. So I think the most bullets in a summer I've put in is like 57. And I think last year it was like 43 or something, or I don't remember the specifics, but I'm assuming this year I'll be in something in the 50 bullet region, 50 to 70 maybe, if I like run super bad on day 1s, but I don't imagine myself ever putting in like 80 bullets plus in a summer. But at the same time, I would never want to put in like less than 30, you know. So it's going to be pretty intensive, but you know, ideally I make enough day 2s that I don't have to fire 60, 70 bullets. You know?
Isn't that the fucking dream?
That's the plan.
That is the dream.
Very much the plan.
When you like approach the summer, like what do you focus on most outside of poker?
Outside of poker,
yes.
The more I'm playing, the more I find it quite important to get rid of external distractions, like to not have, like I pretty much put my coaching business mostly to one side for the summer, and this summer it's going to be more of a challenge because I'm running the Alliance, obviously, but because of the fact that I'm going to be out there playing and everybody else is going to be out there playing, it's going to hopefully kind of lean into it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't actually do a lot of one-to-one coaching sessions during the summer unless it's like specific prep for specific final tables or something with people. I occasionally will take a trip in the middle of the series out of town for a couple days to refresh.
Those are always nice.
Yeah.
Those are really nice. Like, because you come back and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm ready.
Right.
I'm ready. What is running?
Sometimes it's good to do that. But for the most part, I try to just balance out making sure that I'm out there as often as possible while being kind of mindful of, am I feeling like if I go out today, like I'm actually like really motivated to win this tournament? Because there's certain tournaments where it's just, one reason or another, I'm just not very fired up about it. And
Interesting.
I try to, it's probably an ADHD thing mostly, honestly.
Hey, keep it on your side, because on my side, we're trying to win them all, baby.
All right. But what I mean for me is like, at any given time, like sometimes there can be something else that's like distracting me, or it's just making it so that like there's not as much of my energy going towards a certain tournament. Like if I'm tired and it's like the end of the week and I've played 5 days that week, and then it's like there's no WSOP event because it's seniors week or something, and I'm gonna go play like, oh, let's play a 1K at the Venetian with like a single day with like 200 runners or something. And it's like, oh fuck,
Maybe I'll take this one off.
Yeah,
All right.
like I'll definitely have a few times every summer where I'm like, oh, fuck this tournament. Like I'm just playing video games all day. Like,
It seems like the easy answer would be to rest. That's what I would lean on, is just take days off where you can and just actually not think about poker.
right. I do find I can't just be 100% poker all the time, basically. So I have to find downtime, but I also, I do want to maximize. So, just a balance, I guess.
I feel you. Torta. What are you getting into this summer? What's your plan? Talk to me, baby.
It's always the same, right? I'm going to be playing the tortoise events, right? The lower buy-ins and the higher value 1,000 or 10,000 man fields. Pick one of those down.
Colossus is going to be big this year.
I know.
They're back to 4 starting days.
I know.
You excited for the grind?
Maybe this will be the one.
Is there anything new with? I mean, I know we looked at the schedule like who knows how long ago.
The only new thing that is
like buy-ins wise and stuff like that.
There's two new things that I can remember that are, and I just looked at it. So there's a 5K turbo bounty, 5K super turbo bounty, just like the 10K one, and then there's also the really weird one is the 1K Battle of the Ages.
Oh yes.
Where they have 2 starting flights on the same day, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. The first flight is only people under the age of 50, I think. And the second flight is only over the age of 50.
Right. Robbo, can I use your ID? Sure. I got to get in that over 50 bracket,
You got it, puppy. I got you.
Higher.
And so, day 2 is guaranteed to be like basically 50% seniors, which,
that's strong.
Pretty solid day 2 right there.
That's actually a dope idea. I wonder who came up with that one.
It is. I'm almost a little
really
disappointed it's just a 1K. Like, they should just do like a 5K version of that.
I'm really excited.
Hey, speak for yourself.
So this 5K turbo bounty that you speak of, is that a mystery bounty as well?
No, it's like the 10K super
they have
turbo
a freeze
bounty.
out super turbo 10K. Helmuth won this.
It's the single day.
That was the mystery bounty.
No, there's a 10K mystery bounty, which is like a 3-day.
Okay.
And then there's
Matt
the
made a deep run
10K super turbo single day.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a super turbo single day.
5K.
No bounty.
No, with a bounty.
Oh, with a bounty.
Yeah, the 10K super turbo bounty.
It's just it's not a PK. It's just a knockout. So the
Man.
bounties are worth like 1,250 or whatever.
Right.
Probably like 1,000.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I really hate the original knockout bounty system.
So does everyone else.
It's like outdated.
I just want to make sure that I'm not the only person on this planet that hates it.
I don't hate it that much because it does make the early levels meaningful to some degree that they often aren't. Like I think if anything, my issue with a lot of tournament formats is I think they start too deep and they are too afraid of creating a circumstance where rec players bust out early and they feel like they don't get value for their money. One of the things I loved about playing the 25Ks last year was starting 150 bigs deep and being in a position where the first hand you play, like there's a decent chance you could bust. But when you're 300 bigs deep, you're like, okay, there's no hand really feels consequential because it's so unlikely that 300 bigs are going to go in any pot. And they want that because they want the rec players to get like value for their time. But it just creates a circumstance where like the first few levels of every tournament are just not really very meaningful at all. And I don't think that's necessary, So I like the bounty ones because you go in and immediately like you can, you run really good level 1, like you can cash a tournament in level 1. Like it's kind of fun.
Do you guys have any ideas for like a new tournament format that could be made?
I was thinking about this the other day, and I thought I had an idea, but I can't remember what it was. The one change that I am pretty like, I'm in the long term, I'm like all in on this change to tournaments. Is I think that levels should be number of hands and not time. Like I truly feel like that is a change that would make tournament poker so much better.
Okay,
but
and reason behind it?
There's no longer any point to stalling. In fact, stalling actually hurts you because if you're playing slower, you don't get as many breaks. Like you don't get as long a break in between levels or whatever. And it incentivizes faster play. It means that you don't get unfairly penalized by having slow players at your table, even if you're a fast player. It I think makes everything a lot easier for recreational players because they never have to worry about complaining about pros playing slowly. You know?
Okay.
So I think that's I think when I do hear complaints from recreational players, slow play and stalling and shit like that is a very common thing that Recs complain about, and I think that's a big change we should try to make.
It would be nice to see a format like that and just try it out.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good. I'm trying to think of like the negative to this.
Because they've tried that.
There's logistical things
It's
like
not that it's a
like say you
negative,
break a table, now you
enforce
move
it?
to a table
Yeah,
that
that's-
has already played so many
There
hands,
you
or you
go.
got to play more
But like
hands.
that
or-
happens anyways in tournaments where some tables play 30 hands,
Right.
other plays 10 within the hour time constraint.
My
true.
idea would
Yeah.
be that tables only break or players only get moved at the end of a level.
Okay.
Which basically means
Right.
at the end of every level you might have 1 or 2 minutes where the tournament director has to move a couple people around.
Yeah.
But then you have like a certain point where each table, like once you get through 3 levels, you get a break. And then when every table in the tournament has finished 3 levels, you start up again. Or you give them like a 5-minute warning and then you start
Yeah,
up again
yeah.
or something, right? And what that would mean is that the tables that play faster are going to get more breaks. And that also means it's a lot easier to have events where you don't need a dinner break because you're incentivizing people to play faster so that they then have time, ideally, to go get food.
Well, the
Right.
thing
Right?
about this is like giving. You don't know how long a table is going to last, so you have to give more like
So
of a time.
maybe you would have a specific time that it's
Yeah.
like, this is when play is going to restart. But if you finish any time before that, like if your table finishes 2 hours before this restart time,
Yeah, I
you're
got
going to
you.
get a 2-hour dinner break. You know,
Understood.
and
I
maybe
don't
they
hate
say the
this.
minimum you're going to get is half an hour. But if you play fast enough, you can get a longer break, right?
I honestly don't even hate. Don't hate this at all, and I don't even hate like moving players, like breaking the table. Because right now your thought is like a shootout format almost.
Almost, but it's going to be really rare that a table loses multiple players in one level, right? Like it's
Right.
not going to be that common.
Right.
Even if you do, you go from 9-handed to 7 or 8-handed to 6. Like it's not a big deal to play 15 minutes 6-handed.
Well, the thing about the recreational comments, that would be one of them.
Or maybe
You know,
at a
that'll wanna
certain
play
point in the
6.
tournament, maybe after day 1 or something, you do have like some sort of system in place for making it so that a table can't go below 7
Right.
players or something.
I think
But-
Landon gave a pretty good point that like it happens anyway.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now. So
It
like,
does happen
if
anyway.
You can like break tables on the fly, and it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. Like
Yeah.
this is just a set amount of hands you should be playing. But sometimes you won't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will.
And I think we would people talk about how shot clocks are difficult for dealers to implement and whatever. If you play number of hands, you don't need a shot clock anymore, right? Like I think it would eliminate the need for a shot clock.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
I think what you would now create is a circumstance where nobody ever has any reason to take longer than they need
Right.
over a hand.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, you're incentivized to take shorter time
Right.
if you don't need it. So if you have number of hands, all the dealer has to do is have a counter.
Unless you're trying to tilt your table.
Sure, but
I'm just gonna take all the time.
all the dealer ever has to do
I
in
wouldn't
this
do that.
circumstance, all they
Right.
ever have to do, they don't have to enforce the clock or anything. They just fucking push a button to track the number of hands that are played. That's all the dealer has to do.
Yeah.
I like this idea.
For me,
you know?
this is if I look forward 10, 20 years in the future, I want tournaments to look like this.
Jack, if you're listening,
He's not fucking listening.
Guapito,
Yes, sir.
talk to me. What are you playing this summer?
So I'm taking a super strategic approach.
Okay.
I'm
playing
gonna
anything?
I'm gonna take all of myself in the 1K, the $1 Million Bounty,
Okay.
and then cash for like 6 figures.
All right.
And then play some smaller events and buy a bunch of Bitcoin.
Okay.
right off in the
so-
sunset.
Pretty strategic.
You're going to start with the 1K, and then if you cash it for 6
No,
figures, you're going to
not-
play
not- I didn't say
smaller events.
if. I said I'll cash for like 6 figures and then figure out what I'm gonna do from there.
Are you going to cash for 6 figures by final tabling it, or are you just going to win all kinds of bounties?
I'll make it to day 2, which is the bounty day. I'll get 3 bounties, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be like 150K.
Okay.
Guap was going to send us the text at like fucking level 4.
Solid.
Aces got cracked, guys. It's all over.
I just
What
want
the
to
fuck?
actually win a fucking bounty in these things. I've played so many mystery bounty events. I've made the bounty portion so few times, and this is in live ones. Online, I'm a little bit better, but I'm like 1 for like 11 or something in bounty spots, like
Okay.
something absurd.
It's hard. Like we were talking about the other day, where like in the Mystery Millions at the World Series, you have to make the top 5%,
5%,
to get into the bounty portion of the tournament.
Right.
So it's like, 95% of the people are not going to get there. It's very difficult to do.
Last year, I made day 2, and I had 5 shots at bounties. Every time I had like 35% equity.
Yeah, even if you get to that
bounty,
point, right.
one minimum bounty from 5 attempts.
Right, that's the thing. Even if you get to
stupid.
the 5%, doesn't even guarantee that you're even going to get a bounty.
Yeah,
right. Only a small percentage of those people.
I was
get
on
bounties
such
too,
tilt after that. Like I went into day 2 with I covered my whole table. I had like 28 bigs going into day 2. And I had like 4 stacks at my table that was
dream spot,
sub
right?
12
Yeah,
bigs.
just
and
dream spot.
I got it in a bunch of spots. It was like, oh, okay, we're flipping for 2 bounties here, or something.
You
and
lost every one of them.
Just brick.
I just want to
so annoyed.
I just want to let you guys know, your boy's 1 for 1 at the top bounty.
Yeah, that's true. You're
right.
I have plucked
At
1
Orleans?
bounty
At Orleans for $25K.
and a $500 at the Orleans for 25 Rizzies.
That was like when bounty tournament, mystery bounty tournaments just started taking off.
That was literally like I haven't played many of them. I feel like I kind of, or I just haven't made day 2, or I'm out like fucking first level of day 2. So, but that was literally my only pluck of a bounty. I'm pretty sure.
I want a mystery bounty. Here's an idea for tournament format. I want a mystery bounty where your bounty amount is determined when you enter the tournament, and it stays that way. So everybody has a different specific bounty on their head throughout, and some players, like one guy is going to have like a massive bounty on his head where everyone has to try to bust this guy.
Oh, so you want them to know?
I want everyone to know. I want everyone to know what the bounty is.
That's a.
So it's not a mystery bounty. It's
I know
whatever the opposite of a mystery bounty is. Like
I know your bounty.
Yeah, exactly. But like some people have huge bounties, some people have small bounty, and you have to like navigate. That might be kind of fun.
That would be fun. Yeah.
That is definitely interesting.
Conrad, besides playing every single tournament you can get your hands on, what's your plan?
I'm gonna fucking play every single tournament I can get my hands on, and I'm gonna win a few this summer.
Probably even a few you can't get your hands on.
Yeah, well, that's impossible.
You gonna play any of the triple draw that you final tabled the other year?
Honestly, I haven't played triple draw since that time.
So you're 1 for 1 in triple draw.
I am
final
also
tables.
1 for 1 in triple draw final tables, and I think, you know what? I'm gonna return to the streets this year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get into the $1,500 triple
The
draw.
secret is for you is you got to stopping the things that you're 1 for 1 in. Like if you're 1 for 1, keep doing it. You're 100%, man.
Well, I'm 100% in it, so like we don't want to.
You can't be afraid of losing that record, though.
I'm not. I just was doing other shit, Made day 2 or something along those lines. Didn't line up with my schedule, shit like that.
All right.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Hunt.
Appreciate it.
We had Henry Kilbane in the game.
I got to do my final plug. Go to
Yes.
pokerfluency.com/alliance-2025 to check out the details of the alliance. And if you want to sign up, I would be happy to have you guys on board.
Is there like a cap or anything of people?
We have
like,
20
what are the
spots
details?
total.
20. So
20 spots total.
So get in there now.
Yep.
before
One's
it
already
fills.
gone. So we got 19 spots left.
Right.
Let's go.
And yeah, 19 places remaining as of this morning.
So you heard there's only 5 spots left. Get in there now.
That's all that matters.
Good job, Tortoise.
Man,
14 people in 5 seconds.
give me some free coaching. I'll give you some free marketing.
All right, guys. Thank you for rocking with us. We will be back. What's today, guys?
Today is Friday.
We will be back on Monday, noontime. We'll get it popping.
That's right.
Later, squad.
Peace.
Peace.